This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
Good evening. Welcome to WSBI, your resource for success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring women-owned businesses from across the country. And now, for your host, Kimberly McLemore.
All right. Good evening and welcome to WSBI, your Resource for Success podcast program, where you get to meet inspiring entrepreneurs and women-owned businesses from across the country. I am one of the hosts. My name is, of course, Kimberly McLemore, President and CEO of the Women's Small Business Initiative, LLC, and award-winning author. And I have my other lovely host, Miss Natalie Montez, owner of Divino by Montez. How are you doing this evening, Miss Natalie?
I am doing great, Kimberly. It's so great to be here. Always awesome to join you in conversations, especially one like this. I cannot wait to dive in.
Well, we are absolutely excited to get this thing rocking and rolling. And of course, we always want to welcome everyone to another night of sharing. And with us, we have our special guest, Miss Marina J. Miss Marina J helps people flourish after narcissistic abuse with her Narcissistic Template Method and coaches people to transform the relationship they have with themselves and painful dynamics with others, so they reclaim their freedom, their power, their light, and their lives. She helps people rise with one-on-one coaching, free masterclasses, courses, and her #1 best-selling book and podcast, both called Turn Yourself On. She has coached in Shadow Alchemy for 20 years and also has taught Japanese yoga and meditation for 24. So without further ado, please help us welcome to our platform, Miss Marina J. Hey, Miss Marina, how are you?
Hi, it's so good to be here. I am very well. Thank you for asking.
You're very welcome. And round 2, here we go. The joys of podcasting, right? You know, there's always something going on.
I know.
So now we're going to get this thing rocking on. But before we actually get started, of course, Miss Marina, please tell everybody a little bit more about yourself and who Marina J really is.
Yes, who am I? Sometimes I don't even know who I am, my love. And other times I change so rapidly. Literally, I feel like a completely different person. I know I'm me, but I'm always shifting. So I will tell you who I am right now. So right now, I coach women. I coach women to flourish after narcissistic abuse, after one-sided relationships, difficult relationships, or just kind of after feeling beige. Maybe you've had a number of things that have been occurring and you just know that you really, really want to live. You want an upgrade. You want to upgrade yourself. You want to upgrade your life, all of those good things. And my speciality is transformation. And that's kind of how I began. Like when I was little, I would help everybody else. I would help everybody else transform their lives. And I don't say that in a grandiose way, like I'm psychic and I would figure stuff out and I was helping. Mm-hmm. And so I was going left and helping the people on my left, and I was going right and helping the people on my right and left and right again. And pretty much my spine began to follow that left and right of, you know what, you're going to help and support everybody else. Everyone else's voice is going to be much louder than yours, but you're not going to support you. And I always look at people's spine as it's self-support. It's the thing that runs through the middle of your body right now, supporting you, asking you to back yourself, hear yourself, follow yourself, trust your wisdom, all of those things. And so I kind of stepped out of myself in my younger years, and I really felt like I was just in service to everybody else. And as I moved through my life, I ended up having a lot of narcissistic abuse. And what else can I tell you? I can tell you I then became a life coach. I learned yoga, became a life coach, started healing. I used to be a single mom as well. When I was a single mom, that's, I started really transforming my life when I became a yoga teacher. And then when I became a single mom, that's when I thought, well, damn, this is like the end result of really my whole life. Of I'm always on my own. I'm always the supporter, but not the supported. And being a single parent, my little girl, I was in Australia. I didn't have family nearby. 3 of my best friends all had moved out of Sydney like 6 months before. So I was completely on my own because I had moved back to Sydney. I was away in England for a couple of years initially when I first became a single mom, just to get some of my life back. Anyway, long story short, I've just been in the world of transformation. And I really believe whether you're running a business, whether you're running a home, whether you're running a project, the internal work is so important. Otherwise, the external work just takes time. You spin your wheels, you get exhausted. So for me, I did the internal work. I met the love of my life, Paul, who's the father that my daughter couldn't have. He's an amazing dad to her. And I live now on the south coast of England. And there's a pile of seagulls right now. I'm watching them sort of swoop overhead. And here I am. So this is me today.
Wow.
And it's like you have arrived, but like you said, not yet, right? There's always work to be done. One of the things that I really love that you said was that we are not the same as we were yesterday. And I have been coming into that. I have such a similar story to yours. I feel really seen right now, like after hearing you share, your journey. But one of the biggest things is that it's okay for my favorite color to be different than yesterday. It's okay for my favorite taste of something or whatever to be different from yesterday. It doesn't mean that I'm like a fraud or something like that, because we change. And I think that means that we are open and vulnerable to the energies around us, which is something that when we're stuck in narcissistic abuse and toxic relationships, that we are cut off from. And so for me, coming out of my narcissistic situation, I'm finally, after 3 years of being separated from it, starting to trust my intuition or learn how to trust my intuition. I'm not there yet, but it's just amazing that is that's real. That is so true.
Mm-hmm. It is. And the thing that stood out, go ahead.
Oh, I was going to say, that's the thing that gets lost is the self. When you've had narcissistic abuse, the self gets lost. And so everything you're doing when you go, you know what, today is red. Today is just red. And this is, you start to redefine yourself. And that's very important to have your edges, because if you don't have your edges, you're going to bleed into the next relationship. And what we want is to have well-defined edges in a relationship so that we know where we end and where you begin. Yeah.
Yeah, there was a couple of things that you said too that really stood out to me. That how you talked about always being alone, and it was like how it came full circle to you. Talk a little bit more about that. And then the other thing that stood out to me was the scoliosis, about the curve in your back, and how that really resonates with everything in your life. How life can be that curve, that circle, and what do we do about that? So those two things, expel a little bit more on that for us.
Yeah, absolutely. So that feeling, so in a relationship is I love me and I love you, not I love you but not me. And for so many people, whether you've had a narcissistic relationship or a difficult relationship or toxic relationship, there's many words for them, one-sided relationship, so many of us have had that experience of it's all about them, but it's not about me. Yeah. So conversations are all about you, but not about me. And at the end of the conversation, they might go, and how are you? And then you start talking, and pretty soon you're aware that they've already left the conversation. I mean, they're physically still there, but they're not interested in you. They've already gone. Why? They're not in this relationship for you and them. They're just in the relationship for themselves. And there's many people out there that don't know yet how to have a relationship. They have big needs. So for someone like me, where I'm naturally, we've all got our zone of genius, right? We've all got our gifts. I'm naturally gifted at being able to help people very quickly transform their issues, their problems back into the light. So they just live the life they're meant to live. And, people are like, how long have you been a coach for? I'm like 19 years, but the truth is it's closer to 50 years. I mean, I turned 50 this year, and I've been doing it literally as soon as I began living. And so for me, people could feel that in me, and I had no boundaries. I had no awareness of how to protect and shield my energy so that I actually could use my energy where it would be reciprocated, or in certain situations where the person just needed me, that's fine. I'm not talking about crisis, people that are in crisis, but when we're in a long-term relationship, if it's all about you but not about me, it's going to be really lonely. It's going to feel like no matter what I say or do, you can't hear me, you can't see me, you don't get me, your problems become my problems. In fact, your life becomes my life, and I'm going to merge into your energy field. I'm going to merge into your lane. So that feeling of always, you may have a lot of people around you, but how many people are genuinely as invested in your well-being as you might be in theirs? Wow. And so what we want to do is find reciprocal relationships. And by reciprocal, I mean an equal energy exchange. It's not every time you meet them, right? But it's where we feel, that person is invested in my dreams. They are invested in my well-being. They want to listen to me. They want to celebrate me rather than compete with me.
Right.
Yeah. And my success isn't going to make them get jealous, ignore me. I mean, when my book came out, I love how you say turn yourself. You say turn yourself on. I'm like, yes, sister, I love it. I just love the way you say it in your accent.
I love that too.
Something about the American accent. I love it. But turn yourself on, I was in a cold sweat for a few nights deciding whether I was going to call it that or not, because it's a pretty racy title. But essentially, it's about turning on your light, your power, your ability to self-heal. And one of the things that was really apparent when my book came out was who didn't clap. And I remember it was crickets. So many of my friends didn't say anything. And I actually got more love and more celebration and more support from people online that I had never met. And I remember getting 90 comments on a post that I put in some group I was in, some marketing group that I was in America. I think it was like the second time I posted in there or something. And I remember getting 90 comments, and I thought, wow. And my best friend hasn't even answered me. And she said, later on that year, I was just jealous of you, but she couldn't get over it. You can't be in relationship with people who are jealous. That's their work. They need to do that. I would continually send them clients. They would never send me clients, all that stuff. So there's the loneliness. There's the, wow, I'm picking people that are lovely, but they either don't have the capacity to be genuinely in relationship with me, or they don't want to be. And that's okay too. And so for me, I realized a few years ago, that's what I call the narcissistic template, where you're not in that narcissistic relationship anymore, but you're in these sort of quasi-relationships that actually, they're not narcissistic, but it's still all about them. It's still not really about you. They're still not genuinely there for you. And so you're still in relationship where you may be giving in 80% of your interactions, but only receiving 20% back.
Yeah. And that can be exhausting, and that's where you start to lose yourself.
Right, exactly. But the thing I like you to talk... Go ahead.
Sorry, no, you go ahead.
No, I was going to say the thing that it was interesting that, a lot of people, when they think about narcissism, they always focus it on the fact that it's like the husband and wife, the man and, woman scenario. I liked how you've talked about the fact just in that 2 seconds that, hey, it's really also related in business relationship, friends relationship. It doesn't have to be, you have to be sleeping with somebody in order to understand what that is. But people actually twist the words of narcissism. They don't really look at it as an everyday scenario that we really do go through.
Right. Yeah, it's toxic relationships.
Yeah, I mean,
in parenting.
Go ahead.
Natalie, were you talking?
Did we lose? Yes. Did you lose me?
Yes, I did.
We lost you, for a moment. We can hear you again.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, I was talking about it can even be in parenting relationships, toxicity.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. And that's the key. But like I said, I think a lot of times people don't really understand what the word means. So they kind of separate it out them lives and they'll use other things, not really understanding that. Do you know that narcissism is like daily occurrence with people? Like you said, it's all about them, but it has nothing to do with you, but they really want you to be there for them consistently. But like, and that's the thing that I really, truly have to fight with, and the reciprocation piece. It's always lacking. You know, I need you to do this, or can you explain this to me? And like, okay, you know, this is great. I don't have no problem with helping you, but when are you going to learn to reciprocate? And a part of being in business is reciprocation. You can't survive without people, right? But when people feel like it's all just about them, they don't see that circle. All they think about, well, I need you right now, so I'll deal with you sometime or at all, maybe not at all. You know, so yeah, definitely get that feeling. Absolutely. So, Marina.
Yeah, and just to jump in really quickly, I agree with you. So when we say, you know, it's all about them but not about me, that doesn't mean that person's narcissistic. It's if they have some of the other things. So that's, you know, if you're with somebody and you're like, geez, it's all about them, but it doesn't necessarily mean they're narcissistic. What I look at I look at the client that I have, and I look at their responses, and that tells me really what's going on. So, you know, really with narcissists, they want to destroy you. They want to take it's actually quite sinister. So, yeah. I just wanted to say that real quick.
Well,
I think,
and you know, and thank you for clarifying that. But I think a lot of times too, that even if, I guess in some of my experiences, that even if they don't say it and you don't see it right away, at the end of the day, it turns out to be that. You know, where I've been in situations in business where, you know, I've helped an individual and they constantly, you know, I'm there for them. I mean, literally would break my back to get whatever they needed in order to get, because like, oh, this is how we're going to deal with the partnership. And then found out at the end of the day, it was literally, you know, it's not about you. It's really all about me. I need to be the center of attention for everything. I'm going to destroy everybody around it and make it look like you are the problem. And you know, it took me about a year or two to figure it out, because at first when you see this individual and you really thought that they had your back, or that, you know, you guys were really in a partnership, it was never ever like that, because at the end of the day, they really wanted to see me fail. And thought that, and really threw it in my face at the end that, hey, you aren't going to be basically crap without me. And this isn't a business relationship. It had nothing to do, you know, there was no relationship outside of that. But at the end of the day, that individual really wanted to try to destroy what I was building, and then wanted to take the credit for it and wanted to be the center of attention for that.
Okay, well, that does sound
crazy how that stuff happens. And it makes you feel crazy, right?
Right. Yeah, you sit back like, wait a minute now. And then, you know, of course, if you get upset that it's like, well, you're the problem. No, not the problem. You know, and then, of course, and I guess, what is it about Marina J, how people can see it sitting in front of them but don't know how to handle it? How do you explain that, and what advice do you give to people on that?
You know, if you've grown up with narcissistic abuse, and usually it starts when we grow up.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying. Or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
Not always, but usually. Or we have a relationship maybe in our 20s. Again, it could be a business relationship, could be a romantic relationship, could be a friendship, a close relationship where it was narcissistic. Part of narcissistic abuse is gaslighting. And gaslighting is where they deny your own reality. Right. And if you hear that for, a period of time, you start to deny your own reality and you go into what we call cognitive dissonance. And cognitive dissonance is really, cognitive is the head, dissonance is like confusion. It's like what you're being told, what you're hearing in your head is not what you're feeling in your heart. Mm-hmm. So you feel horrible maybe when you're around this person. You feel exhausted. You feel like you don't have any energy to do your own projects. You feel exasperated. Maybe you're angry. Maybe you're furious. Whatever the feeling is. And yet you're like, yeah, but I just want to help them. Or, oh, but they're having a tough time right now. Or, yeah, but I'm the only one that can really. So there's the cognitive dissonance. And that's why we can be with narcissists for years and not see it. Because how many times, if you've had narcissistic abuse, you're like, I just want everybody else around them to wake up and see them for what they really are. And they don't wake up. And they don't wake up because they're not awake to it in their own life yet.
Wow.
Right.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, that's my experience too, because it was rooted. I didn't even know that I was raised in a narcissistic environment until I was with my husband in that narcissistic toxic relationship and went to therapy. And my therapist was like, a police officer could literally come to the door right now, accuse you of a crime, and you would consider that you may have done it.
Wow.
I was there. Did I do this? And they were like, it's that bad. So I've had to do a lot of work over the last few years to not only, come back from my toxic marriage that I just got, but my entire childhood.
Wow. That's deep. That is very deep.
Yeah,
I've never heard that before, to sit there and to think that an individual can really believe that they did something knowing that they really didn't do that, because it's been rooted in you for years, all your life, that this is who you are, but you're really not. Because it's always about that other individual's world and never about yours, but you've been implemented and then trans into that, and now you actually believe that's who you are. That right there was pretty deep. Yeah, it's amazing.
Because it changes your whole reality, and you really do question your own, being, your own reality, your everything.
Wow. Miss Marina J, what do you say about that?
Yeah, so I look at narcissistic abuse very much as an initiation. And by that, I mean, it's a lesson that I see most leaders having to go through in some way, shape, or form. So it might be very extreme, it might be more mild. And I haven't met a leader yet that hasn't gone through it. And I'm not talking about leaders that we don't respect, because there's a lot of leaders that I don't respect. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about real leaders, the genuine leaders on this planet who lead from the heart. I'm talking about those people. And the initiation of narcissistic abuse, you think about a narcissist. What is a narcissist, right? A narcissist is me first. I'm first, you're last. And the victim, the person on the other side, is in agreement. They go, yes, 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 I'm last and you're first. All of our energy is going into you and your life and what you need and when you need it and blah, 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 and your moods and jump, you say jump and I'm going to say how high, all that stuff.
Right.
And so I'm going to think about you when I'm not even with you. I'm going to be second guessing myself. No, completely lose myself, but it's more than losing yourself. I'm going to be crushed by you. And so the initiation of narcissistic abuse is actually to go, it's me first. The victim needs to understand, actually, it's me first. And the narcissist needs to learn, yeah, it's you first as well. But in my experience, narcissists don't heal, so they never learn that. That's why I don't take any narcissists on in my practice. But for the victim, they need to learn, firstly, it's me first. And as they start to genuinely feel how this person affects them and goes, oh no, this is really hurting me. Like, this is really hurting me and crushing me. This is not okay for me. And they start to take action. Guess what? They start to move through that initiation until they come to the other side of it, where they're no longer a walking reaction to what happened. They are now freely and easily flourishing, because they're like, yeah, it's me first. It's you first too, but the two can live together. And so, you know, what you were saying as well, Kimberly, around your business, you know, breaking your back. And it's like, yeah, you were killing yourself to help this person. So at some point, you chose to override how you actually felt in order to be of service, or you were sacrificing yourself in order to help. And so what we want is to have that awareness within us to really use narcissistic abuse as a springboard, because it's not, you know, if you don't know how to heal from it, you stay stuck in it, or you stay stuck in a version of it your whole life. And I'm not into any of that. I'm not interested in that. That doesn't happen. You can absolutely use it as a springboard to absolutely flourish and become twice the woman you were before it even happened. But for us, it's very, very important to go, wait, if I feel how people affect me, even if I can't put my finger on it, there's no logical explanation for it, and I trust that and I follow that, I'm going to actually live a life where I get genuine support, where I'm with real people, and I get to do what I came here to do, because it's very difficult to do what we came here to do if we don't receive what we came here to receive, and that's receiving support from people.
Exactly.
I love that so much. That's awesome.
Yeah.
So well said.
And I like what you said, that it's that we as individuals, you have those feelings. And I think a big part of us as human beings is that we have a tendency to try to turn away with what we're really feeling, you know, instead of trying going around it and facing it. And we're like, oh, you know, we make excuses. Well, you know, it's just something else, or that person's having a bad day, or, you know, it's always something that we're putting in the place, even though we know something isn't right. And, you know, in my situation, when it comes to personal, I've been through the narcissism as well as the domestic abuse. So mine went full-fledged, where this individual was trying to kill me every opportunity he could, you know. And so it's like when you're building that platform, you know, realizing I didn't pay attention to narcissism as much as I paid attention to the, like, okay, what are you trying to do here? You really want to kill me because I don't want to have anything to do with you? You know, so it's when you have the time to sit down and think about all the things that you've been through, and everything that kept wrapping around my head was constantly, how did I get here? How did I let this happen? What was going on that I literally let my guard down so much to the point that I couldn't even see it until I was forced to see it, you know. And so when you're in those situations and you do have to look at yourself in the mirror and you realize your value, your worth, that, you know, how did you get here? And for me, I will say therapy didn't work. In that perspective, my therapy was being able to write. And then once I started to write and started to reread my words and understand, I was like, oh my gosh, these are the things that you hear people talk about. These are the things that you're going through. And now you're that person, you know? So, you know, when you get to that point, I guess, you know, like you were saying, Marina J, that, you know, you just, once you realize who you are and what's going on, and you can lift yourself up out of that. But you talk about an awakening. It's incredible. Yes. It's incredible. And then the number one question people would ask me was, well, how can you move forward after everything that happened to you? And my answer is, how could I not?
Yeah.
You know, so
absolutely.
Wow.
Yeah, it's huge, and it is huge. And, you know, you writing down everything, that's you releasing the cognitive dissonance. And that's the first stage of healing, where you remove the confusion and you go, no, he did hurt me, and this did happen, and this isn't okay. And I'm actually really angry about it. And you literally have the reactions that you weren't strong enough to have back then, or you weren't safe enough to have back then. You know, people say, how could you let this happen, whatever. Well, narcissists will go after the brightest bulb in the room, okay? So the brighter you are, because it's an energy, they want your energy. It's an energy. I look at narcissists, you know, the Harry Potter books. Both,
Yes.
both the Harry Potter books.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and they have Dementors in the Harry Potter books, and what the Dementors do, they're like, if you don't know it, they're like the big sort of black smoke. That's what they look like, and they will come and they will suck the life out of you, and that's what narcissists do, right? But they can only do it to people that haven't awakened to it yet. And so, on some level, for that to occur, I'm not saying when you're really little, but as you get older, you're doing it to yourself. You're having these draining relationships, you're draining yourself, you're not aware that you can really have your own energy feed yourself. So how can it happen? It happens to the strongest people, because usually that strongest, brightest person has been spending their energy outwards on other people and not understanding yet how to spend it on themselves and inwards, and how to keep their own signature energy running so that they get to choose where it goes. It can't get taken anymore. It can't. So now, after narcissistic abuse, you can pick up the red flags really easy. Like, I would never go to that person again. Are you kidding me? Because you know the signs.
Exactly.
Yes.
Wow. Ooh, we could be having this conversation all day.
I know.
I mean, it's so deep, and it's. Obviously now, I can turn around and look at things, and I can laugh about certain things, and I can rethink it without feeling like I'm going to fall apart, but, it is definitely a journey. And like you said, Natalie, it's something that's continual in your life, and when you realize that you do have your power back and that you want to move forward in your life, and that these are the things you're not going to deal with, it is so much simpler to be able to get up and breathe. And I love when Miss Marina says, you're not going to do this. You're not going to do it. You've known how to take your power and say, you know what, I'm not dealing with this today. This is who I am today, whether you like it or
Ever
not.
Again.
So right.
That's
exactly.
right. And I love what she said about rebuilding your edges.
Yes.
It's like boundaries and knowing who you are, even though you're still evolving and growing, to where you know what you're not going to let in. You know what you're not going to deal with. You're not going to tell me what kind of ice cream I like. I'll tell you what kind of ice cream I like.
What kind of ice cream do you like, Natalie?
I like coffee-flavored ice cream.
Really? Coffee? That is quite unusual. All right.
I love it so much. I just had some yesterday.
Love it.
Oh, wow. Wow. All right. Well, we're getting close to the show, but before we go through closing out, I do want you to talk a little bit, like I said, about the book real quickly, and then about your podcast. Miss Marina.
This holiday, BMW has reunited 3 members of the family at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. The Agile X3, engineered for any adventure. The plug-in hybrid X5, commanding the streets with unmatched presence. And the all-electric i4, charging into the future with impeccable performance. Hurry in to find what powers your journey at the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine.
Visit Valley BMW Center today for attractive lease and finance offers.
When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do meaningful work every day. You get to be the biker who codes as fast as he rides, crafting advanced tech solutions that transform car buying, or a guitarist who develops harmonious apps and websites, connecting people to people and businesses, all in real time. A savvy soccer mom running solution sets as passionately as she runs gameplays. Be the super secret keeper, designing cybersecurity systems to protect private data and websites. A planet protector, expanding EV battery life and inventing more ways to build a better future for all. When you work in tech at Cox, you get to do career-defining work that solves the greatest problems of our time. Join us and connect to work that improves lives, including yours. Learn more about our family of businesses at cox.career/tech.
Yes. So my book, Turn Yourself On, is for women who really want to just get themselves back. So it might be after relationships, it might be after a bit of a tough time, and it's for you to really turn on your ability to self-heal. So it's more of a handbook. And So anything that you might need during the day when you're like, oh my God, this has just happened, you can flick to a page and it will say, great, you're here, let's go. And it will take you through the steps. So it's a very how-to book. There's hundreds of processes in there so that you really become this powerhouse that you were born to be. I wrote it as I speak. So it's like I'm talking to you directly. And my podcast is leaving off on lots of things, basically. And I'm starting up fresh new episodes very soon. Probably by the time it comes out, I will already be doing them. And I just love it. I want as many women in particular. I do coach men, but I actually coach more women, much more women. I want as many women at the top being where they belong. And I want as many women really grounded in their own. And that can be throwaway comments when there are no more excuses that you're more than anybody else, including yourself, and you just do it. You do what you came here to do. There's an enormous power that comes with that. And I feel like we need as many more leaders at the top until we're all leading ourselves, and then we don't need leaders. But that might be 50 years. Who knows?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
If it takes
harnessing our power.
Exactly.
Yeah, or not lemon ice cream. You know, you've already changed things so much. Yeah.
Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, I will be definitely this book because that it has a significant place in my life. So I'm just excited to read it.
Okay.
Yeah, it's very amazing.
Say that again.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I was just getting ready to. I'm going to definitely be ordering your book because I know that it has a place in life now. I cannot just read it.
Oh, thank you. And so I do a lot of free training in this group as well. So around that. Yeah, I like having authors or things that are just really accessible. And books, and the same as you, sitting down with yourself. And I haven't read a book in a long time saying that.
Okay, lady, we are at the end of the show. Before you greet you.
Yes, I feel like I already answered by jumping in. I'm just excited to talk about my book. Sorry. If you go to my website is marinaj.net. You'll see a free Facebook group where I do regular trainings in there. We've just actually having relationships and what to do with them and not about you. How you'll new people in. I have my beautiful big course, The Narcissistic Abuse, and going for it. So lots of ways. Hi.
Hello.
Yay.
All right. All righty. So, like you're definitely talking about, we have other things we're going to also get back to. And again, like I said, it's been such a happy and all the listeners, some tools and read this, even in our short conversation. I hope that everybody's going to have an opportunity to learn and really take the understanding narcissism is really about, being a narcissist versus, like you were saying earlier, that it's not just about, well, I just don't want to help you. Attitude, but it means I want to destroy you, and that's the part of the reason why I don't want to help you. So, I think it's a lot of it was very important to understand that, and I definitely appreciate your time for coming on. It's been a total pleasure meeting you. Have anything to say, last words?
It's such an honor to story and to get to know a little bit more about what you're doing in the world and how you're alive. So I am for you, and keep doing that great work.
Wow. Oh, thank you both so much. You guys are amazing. Thanks, Kimberly. Really time for you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Marina. You have a wonderful rest of the day, and we'll talk to you hopefully soon. Take care of yourself.
Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Natalie, oh, what a show.
I know. That was amazing to just talk on a technical problem today. My earbuds are like going in and out. But yes, I just am I am so encouraged by her work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was an amazing. The conversation we could continue to talk over and over because there's so many things that people don't really truly understand about what narcissistic behavior really is and it affects it. And I think people go through it every day, but not understanding that they do because they don't like. A lot of people don't know what the word really means and they don't like hearing the word. Because they look at it as kind of dirty. But at the same token, if you don't recognize how it affects you and what's going on with you in your life, these are the things, then how can you're constantly derailed, you can't move forward, right? So having this conversation, I think, has been phenomenal, and definitely need to get that book, and hopefully we can have another conversation with her in the future.
I hope so too, because I think a lot of us just don't I know I didn't realize just how deeply the effects of being in that kind of a narcissistic, toxic relationship can go. It affects the most simplest of things, the smallest minutia of things, and you've really spun yourself out of control and lost yourself at those like tiniest, deepest levels. Mm-hmm. So it takes a lot of work, and it takes you, a person, growing into their own self-compassion in order to be kind to themselves, to acknowledge, like, this is what I've gone through, this is what my experience is, and I need to take step by step and kind of repair that damage, you know?
Mm-hmm. Exactly. Well, all right. So to the listeners, before we sign off tonight, again, we hope you learn about the effects of narcissistic behavior. Also remember that Marina J did really share with us some clear, actionable strategies that she has shared with some of her clientele, and, you know, really try to understand what narcissistic abuse is about. And those steps that she provides will help you no longer derail you from making the change you need to be able to move forward. But this also leads me, as always, to ask the listeners, are you aware of what narcissistic behavior is? What do you have in place, and what are your next steps? So if you need to conversate with either one of us or Miss Marina, I mean, all three of us have been through that. We all understand what that feels like, and we also understand how to move forward. Please reach out to me or at KimberlyWSBILC@gmail.com, or to Miss Natalie at Divino by Montez, which is divinomontez@gmail.com. And let's chat about your dreams, and let's also turn those dreams into your goals. And of course, like I said, if you just need to talk to somebody about what you're going through, we're here to help you move forward in that. And of course, if you want more of your resource for success, monetary donations to support the podcast are now accepted on Cash App, PayPal, Good Pods, Tip Jar, or you can go directly to the website at www.wsbilc.com. And of course, we will have all the information that we discussed as far as being able to reach us within the show notes. And we'll also have, again, like I said, Ms. Natalie Montez's information, because she has an amazing business as well. And then, of course, Miss Marina J's, because, like I said, her story is actually our story as well. So we're here to assist you all the best that we can. But again, we'd like to thank you all for listening to us tonight. We will be back next week with more amazing guests. Be sure to follow us on iHeartRadio or wherever you listen to your podcast. But until then, enjoy the rest of your evening, and good night.
Good night, everyone. We will be back next Thursday evening at 7 p.m. Follow us on Spreaker, www.spreaker.com/user/WSBI. View our new WSBI website anytime at www.wsbillc.com, and on Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, LinkedIn, and Instagram.
Whatever the adventure, there's a BMW engineered to take it on. The X3 delivers a striking design with agile performance. The 100% electric i4 packed with pure electric energy. Or the plug-in hybrid X5, an impressive, versatile SUV granting full control on every journey. Choose what powers your next adventure during the BMW Road Home Sales Event. BMW, the ultimate driving machine. Hurry in for exceptional offers through January 2nd. Visit bmwusa.com for details.
Hello, it is Ryan, and I was on a flight the other day playing one of my favorite social spin slot games on ChumbaCasino.com. I looked over at the person sitting next to me, and you know what they were doing? They were also playing Chumba Casino. Everybody's loving having fun with it. Chumba Casino is home to hundreds of casino-style games that you can play for free anytime, anywhere. So sign up now at ChumbaCasino.com to claim your free welcome bonus. That's ChumbaCasino.com and live the Chumba life.
Sponsored by Chumba Casino. No purchase necessary. VGW Group. Void where prohibited by law. 18+. Terms and conditions apply.